life. He's doing life. Before we get started, our presentation of the evening, I would suggest hydrating. Grab something to eat, take a few seconds, consider this the pre-intermission. Give me one moment, I'm gonna wet my whistle. Some poison would probably do. Got some poison. Just drink that. I mean, it's all perception, right? At the end of the day. Got the gulp in. All right, well, one more rip for rip's sake. So, tonight, before we get started, so that you're aware, there's going to be a puzzle involved with this. It's a very simple puzzle. And really, you'll just find that you're missing one piece. You want to break it down, there are 9 pieces to this puzzle. And the centerpiece is the one that's missing. And in that centerpiece lies the ultimate question. And yeah, maybe we can find it tonight. Hello! You've seen me in my other videos and decided to do something a little bit more structured. Don't mind the background, you know, it's just distraction. It suits its purpose. I think its thematic element fits for what we're doing tonight. So, maybe I haven't properly introduced myself. I go by many names. Right now, you can call me Dr. Bright. Where did I get this name? Well, that's a good question. I got this question in a place of what I should have been a place of hell, I guess, by some people's, approximations, but, really, the reality of it is it's jail. And it was in those moments, in that place, that I saw the misery and the suffering that is predominant, the suffering that I've been averting my eye to. I haven't been focused on it. So what does the rotten root of a tree do? It festers. And then the rot eventually gets to a point where it kills the host, if there's no measures taken. So in this case, you can think of a rotten tooth.
Today we're going to be looking at SCP-55. Up to class.
You won't remember this one anyways, so we'll just go on to the next. Too much words, a lot of text. It's all rolling on the screen, so it's not like you're going to sit there and read it, right? You just listen to my voice. It's going to tell you everything you need to know. But it gets long-winded, like why would you want to listen to something that's long-winded? It just keeps rolling and rolling. But that's understandable. So going back to where I was at, jail. It ended up being a transformative experience for me. I met a lot of people that were in bad spots in their lives. I met people that were teachers, and I met people that were students. And I was really inspired by the connections that I made there. The first time I had cried since, God knows when. I was just so balled up then. Like, surprised I could take a shit. Just how balled up I was. But the person I cried to was an alleged murderer. And he was only 18 years old. And he said to me, yeah, it's okay to cry. And I was like, wow. I was like, is that what it takes? You gotta get like this most serious person in the world to tell me that, hey, you know what? It might be bad, but it's not like this bad, you know? Like, you didn't fall for the trap, you know, that's being set for you in your life, you know, like your situation, like you were tested, and instead of following through with what, you know, the plan was, things changed. There were branches and paths that weren't seen in ways that couldn't be seen.
That's why they call me Nichols. What's that? It's crack. Give me another ball.
Yeah.
Give me another ball.
So yeah, you could consider it a puzzle me in a way, not in an egotistical kind of way, but in a learning experience. You know, like I'm offering up what my experience is and how I've related those experiences to tangible, I guess, well, not tangible results. I don't want you to so focused. It provided to be a catalyst in life, and I was able to do it on a small scale. And not only did I do it on a small scale, none of the fears that I had that were going to happen happened, and mostly because I embraced that flow, and I didn't get caught up in the internal voice. Yeah, so the interesting thing about it was that I was provided a tablet, which I had never heard of. So it's like, well, again, like I like looking at my life as a simulation, and pretty much most of this that I'm talking to you is about a simulation. So I don't want you to get too far off into, you know, thinking that this is something serious, you know. It's something that should be taken as an educational thing. Think of it as role play, if you will. This is just me role playing to a camera, which it really, you know, I want my daughter to know me, and I can't be in her life, just because of how the branch is wound. We'll just put it like that, you know. It didn't do so in my favor, but that's fine, you know. I was like, what does it matter? You know, like, you were at that point. You can't redo anything that would be tangible to you in a way that. But so, jail. It's not so bad if you come into it with the right mindset. You have to your days when you're in jail are pretty much standstill, and the whole point of it is duality. You can either take that time and better yourself with what resources you have, or you can lament and then dwell, and that doesn't benefit anybody. You're not walking out having had any growth. You know, you're the lotus flower in the mud in that situation. You just have to understand when you're in the mud. And when you're not, you know, in this simulation. Because if you get stuck up in the simulation, then you start doing wacky shit, you know, like you're thinking you can talk to other worldly things, you know, as an example, in the world building notes. But the whole idea is to spur a mental method of communicating in this simulation without, you know, potentially opening the proverbial door to whatever, you know, monster that might be behind that. You know, that's been the we'll just say that that's the meta, the game as it was designed, not the meta. So the meta is a different thing. Oh. This is old work shit. You can can totally just ignore that. I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to have this, but you know, it's whatever. It's all roleplay, right? It's not real. This isn't an old training video from where you used to work. It's, you know, completely coded out to the brim. You know? Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it's not like Trump laid you off and put you in a situation where they, you know, because they were in such a hurry, because they were worried about culture war stuff. You know, they were, their side, they perceived losing on that front. So like, yeah, what are you gonna do? You know, and he's like, you're gonna go ahead and shut all that stuff down because, you know, you're just gonna do whatever you're gonna do, which is fine. Go ahead and do what you're gonna do. You know, go ahead and see what happens when you take enough toys away from enough boys. And you know, either way, whole thing here is, yeah. So I worked for this think tank. I have been on and off since 2015. I had a security clearance. I wasn't allowed to talk about what was happening in my day-to-day work. It was all coded as technical support. And really I had been picked up for observation skills. So with these observation skills that they provided, like, well, with the observation that I had, I pretty much worked in an analyst role, if that makes sense. Writing reports, documenting, and then pretty much just like, you know, hey, this isn't good, you know. Stuff that didn't really resonate with me, but, you know, they approached me around the time that my daughter was being born. And, so, they did all of this, yeah, look at this, like, it's completely fucking testosterone out. So, I got approached after working for Google by this. I'm not going to mention like what this, you know, anything specific. I'm just going to keep it general because, you know, again, this is just role play. It's not real. Yeah. So I go through all these processes, you know, to get into working there. There's a lot of stuff I didn't understand. Like they exposed me to like ideas like the Gateway, Hemisync sphere, CIA papers is kind of like a primer, and then that we were working off of that. But it wasn't in a way that was really going to be beneficial, but to a select few people. Which reminds me, in 2011, let's call this the trivia bit. The more you know about me. Back in 2010 to 2011 was around the time that Fukushima and that tsunami, that's it, happened. So, yeah, I got interested into like one of my first real visceral mind game experiments. And I didn't really realize it when I was doing it because I was so fucked up all the time when I was doing it. That, you know, like I had free time, I was like losing it up with my mom and, you know, getting weed from a guy, which, yeah, it reminds me. This is boring. It's just mostly like, look at us, we got big dicks, like I do too, so big, so big. But, yeah, I do talk too much. Fuck you too. So, simulation. We're playing this game, and you work for this think tank, and you got like laid off with no conditional strings. Like they didn't make you sign any NDAs. All they did was they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't sign they didn't go through the process that they were supposed to. They basically railroaded everybody in, at least on the research side of things, out the door. You know, again, because what they thought, I guess, was that we were doing like culture war stuff, you know, like propaganda in other countries. But I mean, they didn't have anything to look into whenever they spoke. Theoretical metaphysics, what is that? Oh, it's no big deal. It's not like it's going to be the next big thing after we get quantum computers. So yeah, I'm in this situation now, you know, like money's run out. It's kind of one of the reasons why I'm doing this. This is more just me trying to communicate with my daughter, you know. I want her to know who her dad was. You know, I don't care about any of the other jazz. You know, this video, this project remission, all of that is all just like one long letter to my daughter to let her know who her dad was. Shit. Fuck you. Yeah, I know. I don't like it either. But in this game that we're playing, it's all about where's your mind. You get distracted, you know, you get stuck in a loop, you get stuck into a thing, you might fall into a hole, and then like, well, what are you doing? You just pull yourself back up. You know, like. And you just pull yourself back out of the hole, and it's just like, well, how are you gonna kill me if I know how to climb out? You know, that trick's not working. So then you start thinking of other tricks. And you get kind of worried, you know, like again, imagine this is just player versus player, okay? Okay, because you're playing against me. I'm your enemy. Oh. And I'm your enemy, and so you're going to be playing this character that's trying to kill me. And like, in which way can you kill something that doesn't seem to abide by the rules that are set of the world that you know because you think you made it? You know, it's like you bought the cartridge, so yeah, this is my world. Well, that's the thing about it is like, at a certain point, you have to realize there's what I was saying earlier, going back to that anchor, the metagame. And this is the most sinister part, is that because you're not a resident of said video game cartridge, you're actually not as privy to the rules as you think you are. And then you run into an entity that happens to be a little troublesome to your system. And what do? You squash that bug. Squash that bug. Squash that bug. You squash that bug. But why is the bug keeps like, hook, 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 what are you gonna do? And then you damn sure you got that bug. That bug's dead. Wait, what the fuck? The bug's running. I don't understand. Usually when I play this game, I like playing on easy, you know? I don't want to play on, I don't want to have to use my resources to expand. I just want it to be easy. So all I want to do is win. You know, I want the endorphins and the chemical reactions that I get from participating in this whole scheme of the simulation as a player. So that's kind of what your motivation is. So, you know, imagine that for a little bit. And you might start seeing things that you didn't see. And don't forget, you know, you're going to want to do, you know, the old inverted, you know, I guess my side would be inverted, and then downwards reverted, and then subverted. So you're thinking in like 4 different ways, you know? But then you don't realize that the system that's in play is like some hardware upgrades for the adaptive difficulty settings. And maybe say this is a check and balance for the system. The player's been winning for too long, right? And it's been beating a lot of things and succeeding. And the system realizes that it's not growing, so what does it do? Daddy gets mad and says, get the fuck up, quit playing the fucking game and get a fucking job. But, you know, no, I'm gonna play this game some more. Just gonna chill here and play this game. You know, I have fun here. This is the world that I live in. You know, I get to kill these NPCs, you know, and their families. It's just like however I please, you know. But then you run into maybe somebody that might be another player. Maybe it's not an NPC, maybe it's a player. How did somebody join your fucking server? How did somebody join your fucking server without you fucking knowing it? Well, maybe they didn't know you were playing. Maybe the NPCs made a little call. It was like, hey, we need your help, shit's getting bad. I'm like, tech support? Yeah, I can do tech support. I did that before my theoretical physics job, which didn't really require any qualifications, so, you know, I'm not a real doctor. But, you know, they're like, yeah, you can use that, man. That's cool. We'll give you the certifications and everything to cover that, you know. That way you can, you know, pick up some chicks here and there and be like, oh shit, he's so smart. Well, I digress. Still going, man. These guys got some endurance. But, yeah. So, this identity of my character, you have privy to all the lore. Like, you literally, like, you have all the cheats on. You know, you've got like wall hacks on. You know my character's position at any given time, at every situation, because of certain aspects of your form. I'm cold. Oh, it's thin. Yes, I will sign my breasts. Totally in a brotherly way, though. Yes, for the things. I mean, how can fire burn if it doesn't produce smoke? Yeah, it is better, isn't it?
Looks like he was still running. Yeah, what's he running? The bridge over the horizon. Records of the last days of the new trains and influence coming in. What the fuck do they mean by that? Which part? Tells a novel worth of text. The part about him knowing this group was coming to an end. They told her said they were a doomsday cult. Well, I feel they must have figured out.
What we're talking about. Forgot to save for a little while. So, well, what do you do when you lose your way? You start again. Getting that poison in. Don't want to get too hippity hoppity. It's all about achieving a certain word escapes me. But yeah, that's my eviction notice. I just did some of the old shit that I used to do in my job. I just rejected everything. If they ask me like, oh, why are you still here? You don't have any money. I'm like, well, I didn't get a copy of your notice. Well, what do you mean? This is the copy I received. It was all fucking blacked out. What do you mean? It was all blacked out. Somebody took a fucking Sharpie and blacked it out. So, like, if you're gonna try to evict me quick, you might want to take notice that somebody's going around and fucking marking these eviction notices with Sharpie markers and fucking knocking out all of the key info that would be able to be identified by somebody. I mean, that's the kind of out of the box thinking in a simulation you kind of need. You know, you need to be able to like, oh, you know, and this is again my case as a player versus you as a player. Like, how does that work? You know, it's like, well, because I said so, right? I mean, that's what they're showing us just because I said so. And the thing about it is enough people talk about it, you know, like, yeah, I mean, it's going to be looked at. The thing is, though, is the weapon is an easily accessible one. You know what they say. You live by the pen, you die by the pen. May it not be my pen that brings you your swift demise. What are we watching? I forget. We started new, right? Oh, this is a shitty fucking training video. Some guy thought he was Gary Bruckheimer. Shit was always like fucking messy as fuck. Like anytime we had a situation where we had to call out a fucking a fast response team, like it was almost always a shit show. And it's hilarious that more often than not it was an analyst that fucking got them out of the fucking shit that they were in. Oh, their attempt to like fucking show you what a mimetic virus is. Like, dude. Well, a vector, I should say. It's so stupid. It's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. These guys that produced it got it right, but like the people that were behind it, trying to think that they were disseminating things in a way that like, oh yes, this is how you succeed. You don't succeed against that. You just live through it. That's the ultimate parable there. You're either there to survive or you're there to die, you know, and it's a reflection of what that is in you. You know, it's more often than not, it's just they're mirrors, you know. But the more you reflect a message, the greener it gets, if that makes sense to you. Let me break it down. A mirror is actually tinted green. So if you think about that, this green mirror, you start realizing that like anything that passes between that, it has like a slightly green tint to it, even though it's barely noticeable. But the more mirrors you add, the greener it gets. And the thing is if you think on the color spectrum, like Roy G. Biv, I'm not sure you're familiar with that. If not, I'm teaching you something here. Pay attention. Sit up proper in your chair and stop slouching. If you need to use the restroom, go for it. I'll wait. It's like watching a movie together, right? Yeah, that's whatever. I've seen it 1,000 times. I'm pretty sure I have. I don't know. I don't remember. So we're playing this simulation game, and I'm disseminating to you like my weapons. And you're like, well, why is this guy telling you like weapons that he possesses? And I was like, well, the thing is like there's a puzzle here, and I've got 9 different operating pieces, and I've just shown you 2 of them. So if I get the right like kind of triggers, I guess, to flip over a piece, I will. But the thing is you don't get to see the full picture until you collect all 9 keys. And you've already collected 2. So we'll put these to the side. Those are yours. And these are the ones that you want. And it's like, well, how did I get those last pieces, you know? how did I get that piece in the middle? I don't even know where the fuck that piece is. Otherwise, I would just take all of them, you know? Like, all it took was you dragging your fingers. But there's these ones, but you know you won't get all the pieces if you just take them. So now you're in a situation where, how do you solve this? You've never been in this kind of situation. You've never had to give, take. It's always just been like, say and do. You know, but, so yeah, you got two pieces, right? You got these two pieces in your pocket. And you know, you're going for a total of 9. And the thing is you don't know if those pieces are already taken by the other player. Maybe the other player has all, you know, one of them's missing. So you know you're gonna have to confront the player in some form or fashion to win the game in your capacity. You're all or nothing. You don't play any other way, you know, that's just how you play. You're cutthroat is where you play. But you start realizing that maybe you're playing against a player who's been in the game longer. But, you know, sure, okay, yeah, but you don't remember anything. Well, you're not learning your lessons. Which is fine, you know, I mean, you can repeat this process as many times as you like. But, I mean, there's a certain point where growth feels better. Where you're no longer in this stagnated repetition of trying to win. But nonetheless, you're not there yet. So we're going to go ahead and continue this game because I'm your enemy. And that's what you perceive of me because you want something I have. Well, you know, you think I have it. That's the thing, right? It's like, it's a piece of information that's missing, which is cool. I got it, you want it. So, you orchestrate things to reduce the amount of resources that entity has to the point where it can't possibly thrive in any circumstance. You make sure things go in a way that benefits you in the game because you're only able to like influence decisions in this game. This is like a RTS game. You click and point and click, and then hope whatever you point and click it does picks up on what it's supposed to pick up on. Which shows the real danger is not the mimetic side of it attacking you, it's the mimetic side attacking an individual and then moving through that individual in a way that it tries to attack you. And the only thing you can really do is meet it up with humility, you know, as a teaching lesson, you know, because there's certain rules it can't break. Does it know what those rules are? So yeah, so you're playing this game, and you know you're playing it for a long time. You've been at relatively long enough that you're invested, and that you don't want to lose. It's like it's not like you just started it up and then you're gonna just shut it down and start back up again. You know you're invested, which is completely understandable. The entire experience is engrossing. You know, it lulls you into a certain type of feeling. You know, it lulls you into a degree of slumber. It makes you feel comfortable. It makes you feel powerful. And part of the problem is that you're not really understanding power, and that's the reason why you haven't won this game yet. And why things don't turn out your way is because you're not going with the narrative of the system. What you basically have done is a video game that's trying to provide you a path. And instead of taking that path, you try to explore it and comparing, not for the experience of exploring these places, but for the experience that you receive from having explored these places. There's like one simulation I played. I was in a place that I won't discuss, but I was traveling down the road on my own. And I, you know, again, this wasn't intended. It was kind of the way that it worked out. I was supposed to see this. I ended up, and this is one of the things that kind of led me, like some of those things that I deal with. But I'm moving through this this road that's going through, I guess, a jungle. I will just use that instead of the actual term, just to add more anonymity to it. So I'm going down in this jungle and I'm traveling in the simulation only. And you know, your character's all privy to this. And I come across a family of people that are native to the area, but because of a situation that wasn't contained properly, because again, bravado or people like this here made things worse. Yeah, so the family's dead, you know. We were supposed to be out there for a bit, so I had I guess what you'd call a tactical shuttle. The idea is that we were going to be camping out, and just in case things happen, we just have some means to. We had a survival kit, essentially. Long story short. And I'm not military trained by any means. I've had training in my life, but not, you know, from the military. It's just, again, other opportunities that afforded me the chance to learn things. And then instead of just like shutting down those experiences, I kind of walked into them with open arms and experienced them in a way that was meaningful to me. Because I gained something from it. And as a result, I leveled up. The thing is, though, is that you weren't having experiences like this. These experiences that were opening you up to new pathways that even you yourself are not privy to. And that's the problem, is that, you know, like, well, why can't I see it? And it's like, because you haven't taken the appropriate steps to do so. That's all it is if you've taken the appropriate steps, you'd realize that, you know, the problem isn't your opponent, the problem is yourself. And that what you're trying to do is you're trying to chase a form of gratification to appease that aspect of yourself that's longing for something. And instead of like genuinely creating, you're getting into these positions where the game's too easy for you, and you're not getting stuff leveled up. So, well, how do I level up? Like, okay, yeah, cool, dude. Like, dude, I'm fucking pro at like just doing the whole, like, just from point A to point B, leveling. The thing is again, if you force it and you're not trying to experience it, and you're trying to speed through it instead of being patient, you miss things. And that's what everything is trying to teach you. Everything. The reason why you're so confused about this whole ruse, this whole fucking ruse that I'm at the center of. The ruse that, you know, you're looking for an answer to. This puzzle here, this ruse, you know, that's all that is. It's all about perception now, you know. I mean, the problem is that, you know, maybe I do have those pieces, but maybe if you ask nicely, you know, I could help you use those pieces. You know, maybe we can work together and, you know, combine our pieces together, and then we can work together to find this piece. Instead of like being, oh, I have all the parts, you know, and like, yeah, it's awesome having all the fucking parts and being like, yeah, look at me, I got that 100% completion rate. Well, in this case, there is no 100% completion rate unless you cooperate with another player. This has never been a single player game. This has always been a multiplayer game. And you're in my fucking world. So if you want to fucking win this game, you'll fucking start acting fucking right. But I get a little heated sometimes. You don't want to take that to the heart. It's just role play. But yeah, I wish I knew my dad. If I was ever in the situation where I could go back in the past and understand something, you would understand what this whole role play game is. It's just me trying to correct that insecurity It's nothing to even do with you. I didn't even fucking know about you, the entity, but you know that you're playing. You didn't know. You know, like I didn't know. It's just like, but I played the game right. I played by my heart. You know, I followed what felt right and what was just. You know, I did the golden rule. You know, I know you hated that dude, but you know what? You know, he had some good shit to say. You know, and then like the golden rule being, you know, come on. And then the platinum rule too. I mean, that's a good iteration. I didn't learn about that one until a few years ago, and that actually kind of opened my eyes, you know? Thank you, Argonaut. So we're like way into this game, you know, like we've been playing for a while. I'm still catching you up, so like you're kind of, you know, understanding what the game's about. Props to Stephen Hancock. Hope you don't get any flack because of me. Shit. Fucking reset the computer. Fuck! I had a whole presentation ready for you. Oh. I haven't seen this. Whatever it is. This is some footage I took from work. I haven't seen it. I'm not going to be playing anything that's unsafe. It might be a little disconcerting to you. Like, oh wow, that's you. I mean, this was, yeah.